We're here for a reader test team with the Tesla Model X, the first electric SUV to go on sale in the UK. It costs from £80,400 for the base level 75D model, and the range is up to 351 miles for the top spec 100D model. So let's see what the readers think.
It's a good-looking car. It's not very inspirational. It's very American.
We noticed people glancing at us. It looks very distinguished and very different. And even when we got down to a parking lot, we opened these umbrella windows and people were simply stopping, having a look, and you could see people mouth, "Wow, what is that?" and people pointing. And that makes it feel like something special, as opposed to just something new on the market.
I do wonder if the sloping back means that, again, it decreases your potential for a load. You know, if you'd got a full family vehicle with, say, suitcases because you were going on holiday, I think you'd have a problem.
The big bonus with having an electric car, you've got a front boot as well, kind of thing. So the storage on both sides. And what I particularly like is the flat seats being flat. So there's no issues with kind of laying any luggage in the back there.
I did think that the available boot space was very small, and if you have got it as a 7-seater, the boot really is tiny. I think once the rear seats were folded down, it did become a more practical space, and if you had the boot liner, then it gave a more finished boot, while if you don't have the boot liner, you have got things sliding over the edge and into the body of the car.
It's a minimalistic look, yeah? So for people who will say like the Apple products and the Bose kind of hi-fi systems, they'd love the interior. It's clearly a premium product, nice quality materials everywhere, nice soft touches. It's
not that inspired inside. I mean, the electrical part is great, and that's very different. But I think as far as glove compartment, sort of cup holders and things, it's fairly run-of-the-mill really with that.
I prefer perhaps some more buttons. I think sometimes having everything electronic, I think there's only one button that you can press, but everything else is on the screen. So I'd be interested to see how that pans out at night. I don't know how sort of reflections and things like whether that sort of can be a bit of a distraction.
I thought it would be really distracting initially, having a kind of a big iPad in front of you, but you don't really notice it. You just basically enjoy the ride and the view and all this kind of things. You even see the windscreen wipers in front of you. Everything's hidden.
And actually, it seems very easy to work, but I think it's like all technology, it just takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think it looks good.
I was trying to adjust the rear view mirror and then realised that the central seat was actually cutting off that vision. And then I was advised to obviously go onto the rear camera. So I think, yes, it's probably not an ideal scenario. I think because if the camera stopped working or it was dirty, I don't know whether that in the rain the image sort of dilutes slightly. But personally, I would rather have an undiluted view. But I think that's more the design of the rear seats.
A 6-footer would have problems sitting at the back.
Okay.
But otherwise, for kids and for smaller adults, it'll be perfectly fine.
Despite it having full seats in the rear, I think you would be only wanting smaller adult passengers in the back. I don't think that an average or tallish person would be very comfortable there.
I sat behind the driver as a passenger, and I found the visibility quite restricted looking forward. So although you had a very nice panoramic type glass above you, looking forward, it was quite restricted as far as visibility is concerned.
So the reason I'm not a big fan of SUVs is because of a high driving position. Whereas what I like about the Model X when I drove it is that it's relatively low. It feels very much car-like. So I kind of was expecting or anticipated that it's going to be like driving an appliance, which something that does the job but doesn't make you smile and look forward to go for a drive in. And I was wrong. The torque is unbelievable. I've read a lot about it, but you have to experience it to really understand what people are saying when you look at videos and read about it.
Obviously, it's really quiet. It's a bit eerie, to be honest, but it's a really enjoyable driving experience.
The main benefit is the fact that there's the instant power. When you're accelerating, there's no delay. It's just the full power is delivered immediately. So the torque side of the engine just throws you sort of down the road.
I think to drive, it was fantastic. It was a really, really lovely drive.
The car does drive nicely, even though it's an SUV that weighs 2.5 tons. And I love the fact that it gets software and technology gets updated over the air, free of charge, so you always have the latest version. Whereas, again, with a traditional car, you buy a car today, and if they may get a revision in 2 years' time, well, you have last year's car.
And certainly the braking side was quite interesting initially, the regenerative braking.
I live in West London, so quite close to the airport, so there's quite a few charging points nearby, I've been told. Going further afield, I've been told there's a number of service stations and things like that, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Car taking control of steering on brakes and all this monitoring and doing it itself. Do you feel comfortable with that?
Fantastic. I can't wait. I mean, I'm sure that when I get much, much older, that will be the way forward, and it will be life enhancing for older people. I think probably just styling needs a bit of a rethink, and I don't think it takes the capacity that they're hoping it will. Even if you've got really 5 people in, I think you'd be struggling with 5 people and their luggage.
As far as what I would change, I think the quality perhaps is not representative of a car at that sort of price point. So it appears that the leather that a lot of these cars have, I think they're probably the premium specs, so that they're extra. I think it's quite a few £1,000s. I think if I was paying that sort of money, I would expect those sort of things as a standard rather than, I understand there's the price for the technology, but yeah, so probably it needs a little bit more work on the quality interior, really.
I'm an Apple fan, so I've got iPhones and things like that, so future upgrades to support Apple CarPlay would be great. I suppose the other thing is I didn't realise that the supercharger network was going to be priced, so for such a premium product I think it would be good to have that as a free add-on.
As a rating for the car, I would give it 4 out of 5.
Definitely 5-star.
Definitely 5.
Yeah.
4.5? Yeah. Easily, yeah.
I think I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5.
Why is that?
I think that technology is amazing. I think, is it really a true SUV? I'm not totally convinced. I think you might be better off with something like a Land Rover or a Volvo if you actually want the capacity. Okay. But its green credentials are amazing.
So, that's definitely answered some questions about whether electric motoring can be the future. Although it has left some doubts with some people, it's definitely been more positive than negative. Now please remember to subscribe and to check back to WHATCAR.com for more information.